Well, what a battle of the Busch brothers today. It also comes down with some controversy. We got that to talk about, a pothole on the racetrack that I also want to touch upon today. Let's get into this video. It's going to be a good one. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and my name is Cameron Simpson, and as always, we have an awesome packed video for you today. We're going to take a look at the playoffs, the road to the playoffs segment. Of course, is back, and it is better than ever because wait till you see what we found out today. Kurt Busch takes the win. That just blew up the playoff bubble. Takes the win in a controversial way, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Holding off brother Kyle Busch really added to this race. Kurt Busch won stage 1, Kyle won stage 2 and Kurt won, Kyle won stage 1, Kurt won stage 2, and Kurt pulls off for stage 3, winning the race today, and it all came down to a pit stop. Kurt Busch pulls into pit road. Kyle Busch goes to pit road before Kyle Busch, and Kyle gets out first. Kurt goes in the lap later, and Kyle Busch was able to beat Kurt Busch off of pit road. As he does that, he gets a good gap, and the cars were so evenly matched that there was no stopping Kyle Busch and there was no passing Kyle for Kurt without any lap cars getting in the way. And for some reason, here comes Chastain, pulls up in front of Kyle Busch, literally pulls up in front of him, and there goes Kurt Busch right on by Kyle, and Kyle just didn't have anything for him late in that race. Smoked the tires behind the 42. That was Kyle Busch's exact words in post-race interview. Let's just take a second and talk about this. And let's take a second and soak this in. Because what Kyle Busch basically said here is, we lost this race because of the 42 in his interview. I literally just listened to the 42's interview just a second ago, and he basically admitted to the fact that, he helped his teammate. His teammate said he wanted the low line. He helped his teammate and went to the top line. Kurt Busch over the radio said, "Thank you to the 42. Now, this is where we get into the controversy, because last Atlanta Motor Speedway race, Joey Logano did the same thing, pulled in front of Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson lost the spot, and Ryan Blaney won the race. That was last Atlanta. This time it's Ross Chastain in front of Kyle Busch. Of course, the story's going to be a little different for the majority of fans, but for me, I get it. Kurt Busch is trying to hold on position, and I was going to let it go for a second and be like, I was mad, but, he's trying to hold off position. He's trying to stay on the lead lap, trying to keep up with the pace. But then I thought about it, and then I heard the radio, and then I heard the post-race communication between him and his teammate Kurt, and I realized, this was planned. The spotters were talking, and he wanted to help out his teammate, so he pulled in front of Kyle Busch, and that is something that I don't like. I would rather them let the race play out the way it's going to let first and second play it out. I get it. I get that he was, in my mind, for the Joey Logano incident, we could say the same exact thing. Joey Logano pulls in front of Ryan Blaney. All of a sudden, that's a big, big deal, because now we're looking at this race in a totally different scheme, a totally different way, because, Joey Logano helped his team win that Atlanta race. Now we're looking here at Ross Chastain helping his teammate win the race. I'm not saying I don't. I just think that is a way that we don't want to see drivers win races anymore, It's like, teammate helping teammate, I get that, but when you prevent someone from winning a race, prevent someone from doing that, it's tough. Kyle, of course, was very upset. Ross Chastain was like, whatever. But, of course, Kurt and Kyle did meet in victory lane at the end of today's race. But all I know is that I just think that is something that can't happen. That's just the way I look at it. And maybe I look at it differently because I'm a Kyle Busch fan. But when I look at the incident that happened last April, where we had Joey Logano and we had Kyle Larson get blocked by Logano in that race just last April, and we have the same incident happen here. Teammate helping teammate. You know, NASCAR is different than a lot of other sports where, yeah, you want teammates to help each other, right? But, you know, if it wasn't for that post-race interview where we saw the one car literally admit to the fact that he wanted the 42 to pass him, he admitted to the fact that the 42 was going to pass him. That's where, you know, Joey Logano never admitted to it back in Atlanta in March. Ross Chastain in his interview admitted to it. The one of Kurt Busch clearly admitted to it in his interview and on the radio. Thank you, Ross Chastain. And they were celebrating. You know, it's great to have a driver win a race, but that hasn't won. You know, Kurt Busch, of course, wins at least once a year. Not, I mean, at most once a year for the last, you know, that has been kind of his trend. So, you know, it's good to see him win, but for Ross Chastain to do something like that, you know, that's where it gets a little skeptical. So that's where I kind of draw the line. That's where I kind of say, did this, and he shouldn't have done it. You know, I don't like to see someone win under these circumstances. I don't want to see Ross Chastain do that. And then, I mean, if he's going to do it, don't straight up admit to it, because then we're getting into some things that you don't want. You know, Kyle Busch was mad, and I get it, but, I mean, he was very mad, and I can't blame him. I guess I would kind of be very mad too. So let's take a look at some finishing results here from this race. We got Kurt Busch who won the race. We got a lot more coming up on Kurt in winner spotlight. His brother Kyle finished second. It was the Busch brothers. Basically, it was their domination all day long. You know, Chase Elliott was in there for a few laps today, but he had a problem on pit road and just couldn't recover it. Martin Truex Jr. needed this third place finish. He needed a third place finish. Martin Truex Jr. has not been where he needs to be these last few weeks. Gets a third place finish. That's a good finish for that team. They need that finish. Alex Bowman finished in fourth. Ryan Blaney in fifth place today. Tyler Reddick finished in sixth. Chase Elliott, of course, we just said, you know, was started on the pole. He looked like he had a fast car until those problems on pit road. Finished seventh. Christopher Bell in eighth. Another top 10 for him. Matty D with a critical top 10. Now that we're going to be looking at a totally different playoff format, now with Kurt Busch winning this race. Brad Keselowski finished in 10th. Kevin Harvick, a good run in 11th. Austin Dillon in 12th. Denny Hamlin finished 13th in today's race. Bubba Wallace finished 14th. Chase Briscoe in 15th today. That car was looking all right today. Chris Buescher couldn't continue that top 10 at a mile and a half today, finishing 16th. Cole Custer in 17th at the end of the day. Tough day for Kyle Larson after what we thought would be, he was one of the favorites of this track, finished in 18th. Joey Logano, though, in 19th today. Another tough run for him at Atlanta. He has not finished in the top 5 for the last, I think, now 4 years. William Byron in 20th. Some notable finishers outside of your top 20. Of course, Ross Chastain, that controversy, finished in 21st. Corey LaJoie with another decent finish, 22nd. Eric Almirola, tough day. That team needs to find something, and they need to find it fast. At this point, they're in a must-win situation to make it in the playoffs, and who knows what Eric Almirola's future is. That's 23rd. But besides that, Ryan Newman in the back of the field. Dana Suarez ran very bad today, 36. He had some problems. 2 weeks in a row that Suarez has had some problems. They're going to want to continue to pick up that momentum. They're going to want to pick it up here within the next few weeks. So now let's shift gears to Winners Spotlight. Today we will be featuring Kurt Busch. So let's all over here. We got his career wins, first win of the season, and this locks him into the playoffs. And I think the biggest of them all is that this locks him into the chase. You know, the way the playoff bubble has been these last few weeks, it's important for Kurt. You know, he was in, but not safely in. He was about 25 points in after Road America. He had a good points day. Finally getting that, like the annual Kurt Busch win. He's won once every year for the last 3 years, I think. He won at Kentucky. That was another Busch brother battle that he edged out Kyle Busch for, and he got that annual win. I think he won at Las Vegas in the playoffs last year. And now this year, he's able to edge out brother Kyle again. So they're 2v2 for finishing 1-2 with each other at the end of the day. But, you know, that's the crucial part. He's in the playoffs. We're, of course, going to talk about that when we get into Road to the Playoffs. But he is in the playoffs, and that is a big part for him because, you know, that team, round of 12 last year all the way to the round of 8. You know, they find something at these tracks when they come through it for a second time, and they can be a true playoff contender. Again, last year made it all the way to the round of 8, but, you know, they pointed their way in last year. They weren't able to win that race. They had to point their way into the playoffs. This year, they able to get that win and not have to worry about it. That's a big stress off of Kurt Busch, a big stress off of his team. Now he's just able to go out there and perform week in and week out. No matter what the circumstances of the win were, that is a big win for that team. Just able to let everything off their shoulders and just go. That is important for that team. I think that is something that should be said, should be noted, but yeah, no, that is a good job, good win. And now, looking at it, in another win, it was a great battle. That one car today was the best car on the racetrack. His brother Kyle even admitted it. Everyone that I heard in an interview said, yeah, Kyle Busch and the one car had the best car, but Kurt had the best car today. He was the fastest all day. I think he led the most laps, and proved to the end that he had a faster car, pulling away from Kyle after. And I think Kyle had no more tires left in the car. It was just tough at the end, but you know, Kurt had the fastest car today, pure dominance, and that one car is looking mighty fast at Atlanta. That's a big deal. You know, of course, this being the final race at this surface of Atlanta, we got in the mini super speedway that's going to come to Atlanta in just a few. By next race, they're going to start construction this week or next week, you know, immediately construction beginning. So, you know, many of these drivers have been vocal about how they don't want this to happen to Atlanta. And now this kind of shifts to the next thing that I want to talk about. But first, you know, Kurt, one of his best racetracks. It's a great full circle story to see him go to victory lane. But we've heard many drivers this week alone, since the announcement about Atlanta Motor Speedway getting completely repaved, complain. And when I say they've complained, I mean, you know, Denny Hamlin, very vocal, saying how this is the same company that redid Texas, and you know, that lost the date. Redid Kentucky, which is no longer on the schedule, and redid Bristol, which now Bristol has dirt on it. Denny Hamlin was very vocal about how he doesn't like the SMI, Speedway Motorsports, which is a very good industry. Speedway Motorsports has done a very good job at the projects they've done now, but you know, very vocal, you know, and Kyle Busch was very vocal as well, and Kurt Busch was also very vocal about how they don't want this racetrack to change. But I think today was another evidence of this racetrack needs to change. It needs a change, because there was a 20-minute delay today at this racetrack, and I think that basically put the stamp on, yeah, Atlanta needs a repave. The track basically fell apart. The last time a track has fallen apart like that was Daytona, and I think it was 2014. I might be wrong about the actual year, but that's when Daytona tore up, and when Daytona tore up, they ripped down that, they completely repaved it, and Daytona was okay. I think so many people are scared of repaves because of what happened to Texas. Texas got a repave, and Texas is now one of the least favorite and worst racetracks on the NASCAR schedule. And, you know, drivers are very skeptical about, you know, they really like the worn out surface of Atlanta, how they have to drive the edge. They really like how Atlanta drives. So many drivers were upset, but I think the drivers need to understand that when we have a 20-minute delay in a NASCAR race because the track is being torn up, it needs to be repaved. You know, it happened to Daytona. It happened, I don't know if it happened to Martinsville, but it happened, you know. We don't see that very often, you know, Dover, Martinsville, those were off, but long time ago that those tracks have gotten, you know, holes and torn up. You know, Daytona has had that. I don't think it's happened. It happened in the Xfinity Series once recently at Dover, I believe, but besides that, it hasn't happened in the Cup Series since Daytona. And the fact that it has happened now, I think it's the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, that yeah, this racetrack needs to be repaved. No matter what the drivers think, as much as they're skeptical about it, it needs to be repaved. Now that 20-minute delay changed the course of the race as well, so that is important. So let's take a look now at the road to the playoffs. Alright guys, welcome to the road to the playoffs, a great segment that we do here. So let's take a look at the playoff picture. So Kurt Busch basically just upset the entire playoff bubble. He burst the bubble with his win that many drivers below the bubble didn't want to see. because this basically, their chances is light. So Kyle Larson, of course, Martin Truex Jr., Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, William Byron, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, Christopher Bell, and Michael McDowell all have a win right now. Those are the 12 winners this season. Here are some drivers that don't have a win but are still sitting pretty good. Denny Hamlin, and actually really just Denny Hamlin. He has 300 points above the cutoff line, sitting in 13th. Denny Hamlin yet to get a win this season, but still sitting pretty comfortably in 13th. But, Kevin Harvick, 159 points above the cutoff line. That's not sitting comfortable. We have New Hampshire next week, but then we have Watkins Glen, and we have Daytona to end the season. Those are two extremely unpredictable races, I would say. Races that someone from below the cutoff line can easily win Daytona. That is no questions asked. Some of these guys below the cut line can easily win the final race at Daytona. Watkins Glen, anyone. I mean, if Chase Elliott doesn't win, we don't know who might win that one. So Kevin Harvick, even though he's almost 200 points, he's 160 points above the cutoff line, it is still a spot that is not comfortable. You're not comfortable there on the cut line. Sure, you're sitting all right, but he shouldn't be comfortable. Austin Dillon, only 104 points above the cutoff line. Austin Dillon sitting all right now going into these next few weeks, but he needs to be sitting better. And he needs to, he's a little worried. But here's where it gets intense. Now that Kurt Busch has won, Tyler Reddick is safe by 96 points. He's the last one in, 96 points in. But Chris Buescher is right on his tail. Chris Buescher is trying to do that. What is Chris Buescher going to have to do? There's not many races that are good for Chris Buescher. I think, 96 points out. Yes, you can technically point your way in, but I think that's a must-win situation at this point. I think it's a must-win for Buescher. I think it's a must-win for DiBetto, who's 138 out. Ross Chastain, 145 out. That's a definite must-win. And Bubba Wallace, 148 out as well. That's a must-win. So everyone besides Chris Buescher, I think, is a must-win situation. So what does that make you feel? If you're Kevin Harvick, well, as long as I don't do anything to really mess up my opportunity here, I'm okay. If you're Austin Dillon, as long as I don't do anything to really mess up, I'm okay. Tyler Reddick, if I don't do anything to seriously mess up, I'm okay. Chris Buescher, I'm alright if I don't really mess up. Chris Buescher, I need to win. Matthew DiBetto, I think I need to win. Ross Chastain, I definitely have to win. Bubba Wallace, yeah, I need to win. And anyone else below the cutoff line now really has to win. So with Kurt Busch winning, that completely crumbles up every chance of this playoff bubble changing. Now, of course, the playoff bubble can change in a blink of an eye, as we know, but it's going to be crazy. So let's get into our hit the gas or hit the brakes. Now, this race today was interesting. It was by the fact there was, let's be honest, there was a ton of lawn runs. There was a ton of drivers that got out, 1, 3, 4 car lengths ahead of the leader, and that really upset the racing. That really made the racing not so hot, not so great. It wrecked it. Let's just be honest. But you always had that battle of Kyle and Kurt, and the pit road battle, and that little bit of rain, and that Eric Almirola strategy. So you still had that to go with this race. So I'm going to give this race a hit the gas. I am going to hit the gas in this race. I'm going to give it a C+. I don't think it's quite deserving of a B because, again, there was that long run for the second stage and a lot of that at the third stage, but you still have those interesting factors. I was into the race, so it is definitely not bad enough to give a hit the brakes to. I'm going to give it a C+. I thought the race was solid today. And for the Atlanta Motor Speedway's final race on the surface, I think it was pretty decent. So that is what I'm going to give it today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider dropping a like, please. And we will see you Wednesday, maybe talking about some NASCAR. I don't know what we'll be talking about on Wednesday. But I will also see you on Friday with another reaction video on Fun Friday. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.